Thank you all for being here. I hear a lot of excitement in the room. I'm excited. We have a great presentation for you today. Today is Arbor Day, and that is a special day. You're going to hear a lot of reasons why it's so special. We actually have a pretty jam-packed schedule, so I want to make sure we stay on track. But I just want you to know what an important day Arbor Day is, because Arbor Day is a day that we talk about and learn about and appreciate trees. And raise your hand if you've ever been taught or if you know that trees are important to us. Now look around. Everybody knows that. Okay, hands down. And raise your hand if you can think of one thing that trees do that help us. I knew we had a bunch of smart kids at Lopez. Look at this. You all know all this stuff already. Well, today, put your hands down, thank you. Well, today is a day that we're going to learn some more about trees. And as you know, Lopez just got 11 new trees donated to our school. How many of you saw them on the playground? Yeah. Hands down, thank you. And remember, these are like baby trees, so we're not going to jostle them, we're not going to hold on them, we're not going to yank on them, but we are going to appreciate them, and we're going to watch them grow just as we get to watch you grow. And you know what's interesting is out in the front of the building, there are a few trees that were planted how many years ago? 27 years ago. And now they're big and beautiful, and they used to be small baby trees like the one out on the playground. So we've got 2 in the front that are new, and we have, I guess that means 9 in the back that are new. So we're really lucky because those are going to grow up and give us a lot of shade. So as you can see, we have a lot of special guests today. And what I want our special guests to know is that at Lopez, we're what's called the Leader in Me School. And what that means is we distribute leadership to our students. We provide them opportunities to be leaders in our building. And they're going to learn these leadership skills starting in kindergarten. We work with the 7 habits, Stephen Covey's 7 habits of highly effective people. And so we have kindergarten in front, K1, 2, 3, 4. 5th grade's over here. Raise your hand if you know the 7 habits of highly effective people. If you know what it means to be proactive. If you know what it means to put first things first. All these things. Okay, hands down. I'm just bragging and showing off about how smart we are. I'm just showing our guests. So, I'm explaining also why we have one of our leaders, Reagan Osler, a 5th grader. She's going to be helping me do some of the presentation. So I'm going to turn this over to Reagan, and she's going to talk a little bit about our guests.
Special Lopez Arbor Day celebration. I'm Reagan Osler from 5th grade leadership. As a Leader in Me School, we all recognize what a win-win situation this is for both the schools and the community. The school is beautified and the city is sharing their leadership with the students in Fort Collins. We especially want to introduce our special visitors today. The Mayor, Karen Wycannut, the Deputy City Manager, Diane Jones, the Director of Community Services, Marty Heffernan, the Director of the Parks, J.R. Schnelzer, City Forester, Tim Buchanan, the Assistant Forester, Ralph Zentz, the Colorado State Forest Service, Anna Selby, Trees, Water, and People, Megan Mayola, and John Little, the Platte River Power Authority. I would now like to introduce our Mayor, Karen Wycannut.
Reagan. Wow, I'm really excited to be here. First of all, because I used to be a teacher, and being back in a school is always a very fun, happy memory. And secondly, as being the mayor of Fort Collins, I love the opportunity of being able to connect the schools with our community. So I'm very thankful for you being our Arbor Day School and participating in planting trees that makes our community that much better and more beautiful. First of all, let me begin by telling you where Arbor Day came from. Back in 1872, it was celebrated only in Nebraska. And at that time, they planted over 1 million trees. Do you know how big Nebraska is? That's a lot of trees. In 1882, Nebraska began including schools and children in the holiday. the kids could miss school as long as they went out and planted trees. Good deal, huh? The holiday was so popular that it quickly spread to other states. Today, every state in the United States celebrates Arbor Day. And many other countries are celebrating Arbor Day as well. Fort Collins believes that trees are very important to our community, and they make our community livable. And I'm sure you've learned all about this in your classes. We estimate that Fort Collins probably has around 400 to 500,000 trees total. Ever since 1980, fifth grade students get to learn about trees and take a young seedling home to plant. This year, Cooter School District's fifth grade students received an oak seedling to take home and plant in their yard. Acorns were collected from a very special tree in Fort Collins, and a nursery, the Fort Collins Wholesale Nursery, grew them for the fifth grade students just for this program. Along that, I'd like to thank Platte River Power Authority, your electric company, provided the dollars that it took to purchase the trees that you planted, that will be planted today. I am truly happy to recognize Lopez Elementary School as the Arbor Day School of 2012 and to support our community by planting trees for the future. Thank you, students of Lopez Elementary, Fort Collins Wholesale Nursery, and the Platte River Power Authority, and the City of Fort Collins. Thanks you.
Thank you, Mayor Whitehead. I didn't know that all those seedlings came from one tree. That's very interesting. So now I'd like to introduce our Deputy City Manager, Diane Jones.
And thank you so much. This is one of the favorite things to do that each year is coming to Arbor Day and to a school. And it is so special because you are special and your care of trees, whether it's at your home or at your school, is also very special. So what I'm going to do today is I have a poem to read to you, and it's a very short one, but it's called Trees by Harry B. Trees are the kindest thing I know. They do no harm, they simply grow, and spread a shade for sleepy cows and gather birds among their boughs. They give us fruit in leaves above, and wood to make our houses of, and leaves to burn on Halloween, and in the spring new buds of green. They are first when day's begun to tuck the beams of morning sun. They are the last to hold the light when evening changes into night. And when a moon floats on the sky, they hum a drowsy lullaby of sleepy children long ago. Trees are the kindest thing I know. So today is a special day to celebrate trees and all that they do, all that they provide for us, whether it's the shade or fruit or the wind whistling through their boughs. So take good care of the trees you know, and thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Mrs. Jones. And now our fifth graders have some musical selections that they're going to share with us. So I'll turn it over to Mrs. Lilly. Thank you, 5th graders and Mrs. Lilly. Very, very nicely done. I would now like to invite our mayor and Tim Buchanan to come up for a special award presentation. Mr. Buchanan is the city forester, so he's the person in charge of all the trees in Fort Collins.
So I think Diana Selby is coming up, and she's the one who's going to be presenting this award on behalf of the Colorado State Forest Service. So I'm going to hand the microphone to you.
Thank you, Tim. As Tim said, my name is Diana Selby, and I work for the Colorado State Forest Service. And you heard a little bit about the history of Arbor Day, how it started and where in Nebraska. Something that came out of that is that there's an organization called the National Arbor Day Foundation, and they are based out of Nebraska, and it's actually the property that the original man, Julius Sterling Morton, originally planted his property. He's the one who founded Arbor Day. That is now a state park in Nebraska, and that's kind of where a lot of the main hub of the National Arbor Day Foundation is located. So it's a great place to go visit if you ever get a chance. There's a lot of trees, apple orchards. I hear it's really wonderful. I've never been there. So part of what the National Arbor Day Foundation does is they have a designation called Tree City USA that any community that wants to can choose to apply to. And so you have to apply every single year. You have to meet some standards. So there are 4 main requirements. Those requirements are to have a tree board or a city forestry department. They're also to have a tree care ordinance, which is kind of like a set of rules or regulations on how to take care of the trees. They need to spend $2 per capita, so that's $2 for everyone in the community, on taking care of trees, whether that's pruning trees or planting new trees. They have to do some kind of tree care or tree maintenance. And finally, they have to celebrate Arbor Day every single year. And so the city of Fort Collins has been doing this for 34 years. So we're here today to celebrate the 34th year of the city of Fort Collins being a Tree City USA. So that's a really special designation, and here to present this plaque to the mayor and say congratulations to the city and congratulations to the forestry department on a job well done for 34 years. So thank you.
Thank you. It couldn't happen, as she said, one of the criteria is to celebrate Arbor Day every year, and we did that with your help. So thank you, Lopez, for making us a tree city. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have one of our 5th graders, Bo Vanderslice, is going to read a poem.
Think like a tree, a carrot's high shrub. Soak up the sun, affirm life's magic. Be graceful in the wind. Stand tall after a storm. Feel refreshed after it rains. Grow strong without notice. Be prepared for each season. Provide shelter to strangers. Hang tough through a cold spell. Emerge renewed at the first signs of spring. Stay deeply rooted while reaching for the sky. And be still long enough to hear your own leaves rustle. And now, I know some kids at Lopez have been wondering about the older trees on our school grounds. So, some of the teachers that have worked at Lopez for a long time are going to teach the history of our older trees.
1986 thought that they would be such celebrities. I think they were, do you think they thought they would be on a video and this is at Lorax? That's pretty cool. But you know, I'm Tim Buchanan. I have one of the neatest jobs in Fort Collins as the city forester, because I get to plant trees and care for them and tell people about them. And I think one of the favorite things I do is Arbor Day. And as you heard, we got the Tree City USA award for 34 years. I've been able to be part of 34 Arbor Days in Fort Collins. And that's thousands of trees that have been planted. And I'm thinking way my first Arbor Day in Fort Collins when I was city forester. It was in 1977. And I know the tree we planted, and do you know that it is almost twice as tall as the ceiling of this building, of the gym here? It has really, really grown. So trees are really neat to remember when we plant them, go back and visit them. Now, if I'm doing the math right, if we were here in 1986 or 87, is that correct? 25 years ago. And so if you had been in 5th grade at that time, you would be like 35 years old. I wonder if people who were at that Arbor Day ever come back and look at these trees. I bet they do. I bet some of them remember that they were here. I bet some of them probably bring their children. Someday they may bring their grandchildren back to say, these are the Arbor Day trees we planted. So I hope you will remember the trees we plant today, the linden trees and the catalpa trees, and you can come back. And I actually have somebody in my family who went to Lopez. He's a son-in-law. And he's married to my oldest daughter. And he thinks that the trees in the Nature Center are really cool here because when he asked my daughter to marry him, do you know where he did that at? In the Nature Center. Aww. He liked that place so much, he asked my daughter Heather to marry him at the Nature Center. So he enjoyed it so much, so they have a real memory of the trees that are here as well. So thank you for having us. We want you to remember the trees we plant today and come back and visit them over the years. And the people who will enjoy them will be very thankful that we are here and did this today. So thank you very much for having us. And in a little while, we'll be going out and actually helping plant those trees.
Thank you, Mr. Buchanan. That is a beautiful story, isn't it? That shows you the power of trees. And like I was sitting here thinking, man, I wish that when I was a 5th grader or a 4th grader or a kindergartner, I wish that I had this at my elementary school, because I sometimes go back there and visit. And you will have the opportunity to come back when you're old like me and like us and say, I remember being a 3rd grader and helping to plant this tree, and now look how it's grown, just like you have. So now I'm going to invite some more special guests from Trees, Water, and People to come up because they have a special presentation for us.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me today. My name is Megan. I work with an organization called Trees, Water, and People. And we work with kids just like you guys in communities, but we work in another part of the world. We work in Central America and in Haiti. So these are countries that have a lot of deforestation, so people have been cutting down the trees there. So we work with communities to replant trees. And as you know, planting trees is very important to having clean air and clean water and healthy communities. So I just wanted to present a little poster for you guys today. It's called Advice from a Tree. So whenever you need a reminder of why trees are so important and a little bit of metaphor of what trees mean in your life, you can kind of look at this poster and I'll tell you what it says. It says, advice from a tree, stand tall and proud, sink your roots into the earth, be content with your natural beauty, go out on a limb, drink plenty of water, remember your roots, and enjoy the view. So I hope you guys like the poster, and thank you so much for having us, and happy Arbor Day, and happy Earth Day on Sunday.
And she just shared with me that they're going to actually put that in a frame and bring it back to us so we can hang it up. And you know, that advice from a tree kind of reminded me of the poem that Bo read about trees, because it had kind of the same kind of metaphorical qualities. Right now, I'm going to invite one of the other workers for the city. I almost said Department of Trees. That's probably not right. Department of Forestry. And this is Ralph Zanson. Ralph has been instrumental in helping me put this together, and I really appreciate his leadership in doing that, and he had something he wanted to share with us as well.
Hey everybody, how you doing? I recognize all the 5th graders over here. I got to see them yesterday morning. How many of you got your trees home safely? Nice. All right. Hey, one of the things I found out over the years, if you do name your trees, you tend to take better care of them. So go ahead and name your trees at home, okay? So that's great. I wanted to take just a minute and just thank the school for hosting this year. A lot of energy, a lot of planning went in. I have to say, I have not seen a video like that before in all the years I've been doing this. And I want to borrow those glasses, I must say. So that's very nice. So really, I want to thank all of you here. Sometimes I get called, Tim and I get called tree huggers. And this morning when Mr. Davis and I were going out to look at the trees out back, one of my friends here, Jada, came up and gave me a hug. So she's a tree hugger. Say hi to her. So I just want to really thank you. And happy Arbor Day.
Thank you very much, Ralph. So now, how many of you know that, or how many of you helped to name a tree for your grade level? Did you guys talk about that in class? Well, we have the names of these trees, and so we're going to have Caitlin, one of our 5th graders, she's going to explain the names or read the names for the kindergarten through 4th grade trees, and another one of our students, Michaela, is going to explain the 5th grade trees.
For kindergarten, there's tree stuff. 1st grade, tree gum and nudity. 2nd grade, oxy and Lorax. 3rd grade, Lorax and limb. And 4th grade, limb and the giving tree. And did you know that limb can also stand for leader and me and limb?
Nice.
Fifth grade trees, we have the Habits Hangout. Has anyone ever asked you to think of a name for a tree? Although this task seems unusual and strange, I came up with the Habits Hangout. The Habits Hangout would make a great name because the habits are a big part of Lopez and has become a big part of Lopez's students. The 7 habits don't make students do anything they don't want to do. Instead, they remind the students what they can be. All of the 7 habits aren't just part of the school anymore. They're skills that will help us on the long path to adulthood. The Habits Hangout tree will not only be a remembered name, it will remind students that they can fulfill their true potential. And Forget-Me-Not. Have you ever thought about naming a tree? Despite the fact that trees are rarely remembered by name, Forget-Me-Not will be praised for years. It may already be a flower, but that will only help it to be remembered longer. Also, it will leave an impression on anyone that sees it. Lastly, it will be a long-lasting privilege for Lopez and the students. Obviously, this tree Forget-Me-Not will not only bring joy, it will bring fresh air to our community.
Thank you so much, Caitlin and Michaela. And boys and girls, we're almost done with this presentation. And I want to thank all of you for doing an excellent, excellent job and being really good listeners. And we have one more piece of this. And that part is we're going to go out and you're going to get a chance to help plant the trees in the way that we said. And you've seen the trees, so you know they're in the ground. But we've put up some mulch piles, and you're going to get a chance to dig in there and toss in some mulch on the tree and help it, because that mulch is going to help keep the water and the moisture down in that root ball, and that's going to help it to survive over time and thrive, and you'll be able to come back and see it. And so, before we dismiss though, I want to take this opportunity to make a special thank you to everyone who really made this event possible, and a special thank you also to Platte River Power Authority, because they are the people that donated the money, which essentially bought us our tree. So let's clap for them. Thank you. I want to thank the City of Fort Collins Forestry Division for making this event possible, Poudre School District, Jerry Garrettson and his crew for coming out and helping to plant those trees, as well as Trees, Water, and People. I hope I'm not leaving anyone out. Colorado State Forest Service. Thank you. So, when we dismiss, I need you to listen carefully. So there are 2 new trees in the front, and those 2 new trees in the front are going to be first grade trees. Okay, so first grade teachers and students will know where to go. Now, the trees in the back along the playground, I've got them marked as which trees go to which grade level, so you'll kind of know where to go. And if you think about on the playground where the preschool playground is, the fenced-in area, behind that, closest to the street, is kindergarten. And kindergarten has 1 tree. And then from there, moving down, I don't think what direction that'd be, moving to the right, it goes 4, 5, 3, 2. And so you'll know, and I also have on the ground, by the trees or between the 2 trees, you'll see a marker that has your grade level. And so I'm going to ask the kindergartners to dismiss first and start heading that way.